So, this afternoon we are going to go through the practice of the White Tara, the text composed by the 8th Taisituba. Okay. So with that, the practice of the White Tara, along with the Ganajagra offering and the Tsacha making, the stupa making, so all all the reading transmission I've read. Now, in general, as I said, all the entire teaching of the Buddha is, it's if we put together, it comprises in the shamatha and vipassana meditation or practice. So everything encompasses in that. Now, different levels of shamatha and vipassana practice is there. In the Theravada also there's shamatha vipassana practice. Mahayana also there's the shamatha vipassana practice, and in the Tantrayana or the Mantrayana also the practice encompasses the shamatha and vipassana practice. So the entire teaching of the Buddha is encompassed in this. Now, as we know, the shamatha meditation or the vipassana meditation, well, shamatha meditation, they can be ordinary and they can be profound practice. Ordinary is just doing calm abiding meditation. These days, you hear a lot about the mindful meditation, but I'm not sure how it is done. If it's just done for the sake of being, being kind of at some kind of peace, some kind of tranquility, so, that kind of a thing, some kind of relief from stress. So if it's that, then it is not a profound method or profound practice of mindfulness or shamatha, because when we say profound, it is profound or sacred when it can assist you in your path to enlightenment. So enlightenment is the realization of the ultimate truth, the wisdom of the emptiness. So when one can attain that realization, and then the path which can deliver this is a profound path. Just a state of peace or state of happiness, it is not a profound state or a profound path, and because it is not a permanent, sustainable solution. So, for example, we might achieve some kind of benefit of peace, but again, after some time, it doesn't, it's not sustainable. Again, we need it again, and then after some time, maybe you become so immune to it that without that you cannot, you cannot stay. So that way, in fact, this becomes a more problem. So in that sense, so of course, shamatha in that way is also fine, but it is not as for us practitioners of the Buddha Dharma, then that is not enough. So we don't work towards that kind of a limited goal. Now, so in order to make our practice profound, sacred, and then the three methods or the three we say in Tibetan Thamba Sum. Thamba is sacred or profound, Sum is the three. So the three methods which make our practice sacred or profound is, the first is the refuge and bodhicitta. So that is very important. The refuge, as I said in the morning, recognizing or understanding the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha as the unmistaken source of refuge. Then when we take refuge to them, and then it is a unmistaken guide, unmistaken path, and unmistaken friend. So therefore, with that kind of a refuge, then one is able to achieve that goal, which is limitless, which is enlightenment, the realization of the truth. And how do we achieve that, or what assists us in that is the bodhicitta. So without a genuine bodhicitta, bodhicitta means limitless loving kindness, compassion. Without limitless loving kindness, compassion, the bodhicitta, then it is impossible to attain enlightenment. Therefore, all Buddhas in the past attained enlightenment with the bodhicitta. All the Buddhas in the present are attaining enlightenment through this bodhicitta, and all the Buddhas in the future will attain enlightenment through this bodhicitta. Therefore, our Avalokiteshvara, who is the embodiment of the bodhicitta, is also known as the mother of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So father or mother, so whichever. So of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, because without bodhicitta one cannot attain enlightenment. So now, if I try to relate, to the refuge, of course, we take refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, as I explained to you. But the more profound meaning of that is, as I told you today morning, our essence is Buddha. We are Buddha in essence. That is our true essence. So in that sense, and then our mind is the Buddha, our Dharma and Sangha. When we are totally free from the limitations or the, let's say, the defilements of these afflictive emotions, then in that state, then that is the Buddha. And in that kind of a state, free of such ignorance, then anything that is experienced is beyond any limitations or any faults, and that is the Dharma, uncorruptible. And then in that state, one does not have any wrong views, has no limitations. Therefore, that is the Sangha. So in that sense, then one's essence is the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So now, when we take refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, genuinely take refuge, then it is like connecting to ourselves, who we really are. Till now, through ignorance, we are lost, and we don't know who we are, and we are not able to connect to who we really are. So when you take refuge, it is the first step towards realizing or recognizing oneself, this limitless potential that one really is. So that is the first step towards that. And that is, in order to realize or recognize this potential, we have to connect to that first. We have to look towards that first. We have to turn our direction towards that. So that is, how do we turn our direction towards that, is by taking refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So Buddha, attained enlightenment, and through that, for Buddha, there's no difference between Buddha and oneself. Because our essence, the Buddha, and the Buddha Shakyamuni is one. Buddha is beyond a limitation of duality. So Buddha and our essence is the same. The Buddha Shakyamuni and our essence is the same. In reality, it is neither. But because of our limitations, ignorance, for us, we feel Buddha is someone out there, separate. We are somebody here, separate. So this is how we perceive to be, how we look at things. But in reality, it is oneness. It is beyond one or separate. So it is that way. So in that sense, then so Dharma and Sangha are the same. So when we take refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, which represents our own very essence, but in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni, in the form of his teaching, the Dharma, and in the form of the Sangha that uphold that lineage, then it is the same as looking inward and working towards realizing one's own nature. So that is the unmistaken path. That is the first step towards the liberation. So therefore, it is very important to have the refuge, this kind of refuge. So if you understand this well, then you will not have problems, of refuge, because many people, I find sometimes when you say, that take refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, they have little uneasy, because they feel that you are then limiting yourself to somebody, or you are, you are being, what do you say? You are being made to follow somebody, so somebody ruling you, kind of thing. So many other beliefs, say or believe in such things, and then you are not able to be able to relate to that. You want to be out of that, and then you come into the Buddha Dharma, and again when you say take refuge, again you feel that you have entered into another thing, so you feel like that, so but that is because of lack of understanding. So if you really understand, and then it is not, you are not going under anybody, you are not limiting yourself to anything, you are not surrendering your freedom or your anything to anybody. In fact, you are stepping towards the total freedom that you could ever have, so by taking the refuge. So taking refuge means that it is the total freedom. You are not under anybody. Your essence is the Buddha. Your essence is the Dharma. Your essence is the Sangha. So taking refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha means that. Realizing that, recognizing that, and working. Turning towards that. So that is the first step towards genuine, true freedom. So when you understand that way, then it is. People find it a little bit lighter. But then, yeah. So now, so that way, then refuge is very important. The refuge to the genuine, unmistaken source. And then, in order to attain this, limitless goal, because enlightenment is limitless, it is beyond limitation. So in order to achieve a limitless goal, we need a limitless power to push us. Without a limitless power, we cannot achieve a limitless goal. And that is the loving kindness, compassion, which is limitless, which is the bodhicitta. The limitless loving kindness, compassion for the limitless beings, because beings are limitless. Therefore, when we are able to develop a genuine loving kindness, compassion towards beings, which is limitless, then that propels us through this limitless goal. So that is why, And also the very nature of all beings is limitless loving kindness, limitless compassion. So that is the nature or the essence of all beings. The very the very proof of that is that no matter what kind of a being we are, we wish to be happy. We wish to be free from suffering. So that is the very proof. That we are all, our nature is loving, our nature is kindness, and that also limitless, because there's never end to our wish to be happy. We never think now this happiness is that much is enough for me. I don't need any more happiness than that. We never think that way. For us, the more happy we are, the better it is. But suffering, we have limitations to that. We won't want to suffer more. We won't want to suffer at all. But even little bit suffering, that is enough for us. So there's limitations. But for happiness, there's no limitations. So therefore, that is the biggest proof. That we are loving, limitless compassionate, and this is our quality. And also, nowadays, scientists have done many research on this, and they took small children who are, not yet, contaminated by the, the social stigma of what is good, what is bad, what is, all that, and small children, and they did an experiment on them, seeing, what is the natural inclination of our human mind is, whether it is towards a positive environment, loving kindness, compassionate environment, or whether it is towards negative environment, propelled by more hatred, more jealousy, more these kind of things. And they created that kind of atmosphere, and then did various tests on such small children, and they found that all the children automatically were inclined towards the positive, loving kindness environment. They were all towards that. So that was a big, proof, or a kind of for the scientists to come to a conclusion that the basic human nature is loving, is kindness, and is not negative. It is not hatred and such. So that way, even in the modern science is being studied and being proved, and in the Buddha Dharma is been taught by the Buddha thousands of years back. And then we have proof of ourselves, so like that. So now, in order to realize this or recognize this, and then we need to develop, that nature, because the full blossomed state of that is enlightenment. So that way, then these two are very important. So in the beginning, we have always, in any practice, the refuge and bodhicitta. So, and then the main practice. So, and in the main practice, whatever we do, so that is like the shamatha, practice. When we do the shamatha practice, we do it with like, especially now today we are talking about the mantrayana method, or the part, like for example the Vaitara practice. Then all the visualizations, transformation, and all that we do with the understanding of not through the understanding of emptiness, through the understanding of so emptiness we visualize in the nangtong is on illusory. Now, I mean, your appearance yet empty. So appearance in union with emptiness, inseparable from emptiness. So we appear, we create everything, but through the understanding of emptiness. So not solid, limited thing like that, like how impure it is, but pure, So that is why, and that is the very nature or state of everything. Everything is perfect at all times. But because of our lack, our ignorance, we don't see that. So because of our ignorance, we have this limitation as I and you. So this I, to this limitless potential, this Buddha nature, we mistake it with I. And then it becomes, so small, as I, easy to get hurt, easy to, so powerless. And then with this I, then develop attachment. And then with attachment, you have things which, you like, things which you don't like. You like, you develop attachment, and then things you don't like, you develop hatred and like that. So all these afflictive emotions arise that way. And in that we create karma. In that karma, then we experience samsara. So like this. So then we go round and round in the samsara. But the reality is empty of such thing. This is like an illusion. It is an illusion through ignorance. So everything from beginningless time is perfect at all times. It is for example, I give you if let's say the weather. We have been having some wonderful weather. So if rain and this cold and all that, if it is really a miserable weather, it should be miserable for everybody. But some people really enjoyed this. After such a long heat and drought and all that, people really enjoy the this cold weather and the wet weather. Everything smells so fresh. Everything grows, so green. It's wonderful. So yeah, and then so like that. But for some miserable. So if you look at it as miserable, as very sad and gloomy, then it makes you, gloomy, sad, unhappy. But same situation, if you look at it in a positive way, that same situation is positive. So that shows that by itself, everything is perfect at all times. But it is because of our perception, how we perceive. If it is the way we perceive things is negative, is that way, then we experience negative. So limitations. But if we learn to experience it in a positive way, see it in a positive way, we experience the positivity of it. And if we learn to experience it as it is, then that is the limitless emptiness. It is in a true state of everything, as it is, beyond good and bad, beyond this and that, beyond limitations, or so that way. So that is how through such practice we cut through these ignorance, strong grasping onto things as a reality, which because of which we are stuck here in the samsara. So when we do such practice, then we create, the mandala of the enlightened deities. So that is perfect mandala. Then we create, we transform ourselves into the perfect enlightened deity, and at that moment of the, the transformation of the perfect enlightened deity, you are totally free of any ignorance, such as ego, jealousy, hatred. When you are meditating on white Tara, there's no space for ego. There's no space for jealousy. There's no space for anything like that. You are perfect. When you are meditating on white Tara, you are free of such negative emotions at that moment. When you are doing the meditation. And when you are, visualizing the entire mandala of the white Tara, the perfect mandala of the enlightened deity, everything is perfect at that time. And the sound of the mantra as the perfect sound, it is perfect. So that way. So that is how through shamatha, the visualization, we do practice, and that is acquainting ourselves through these practice towards the reality of how things really are, and trying to scale off or peel off the strong habit that we have formed, seeing things as a solid, independent, independent, existing nature. So seeing that, which is the ignorance, which creates all the confusion. So it is a very skillful method, of overcoming these things, and so that is the main part of the practice. And then the absorption practice. So absorption is then whatever one creates, then everything dissolves into oneself, and then that dissolves into, for example, in the heart syllable, and then the heart syllable dissolves into emptiness. So that way everything dissolves into emptiness, and when it dissolves into emptiness, then you remain in this very nature of bare awareness, in the state of non-dual, in the state of perfect. So when you remain in this, then it is the vipassana practice, so a practice of the emptiness. So you remain in that, and then from there, then as you as a thought appears, because we are at the moment who we are, then so we can only experience moments of that perfect state. And then when a thought appears or some, then we transform ourselves back into the perfect deity, and then conclude the practice. So when we do this back, transforming ourselves back into the deity, it is we do that because when we attain realization, or when we attain the full realization, then our activity to benefit beings manifests in spontaneous form. So for that purpose, then we do this, and then so that is the main practice. And then now the end practice is the dedication. So dedication is very important, because if it is like a safe box. So if you have a safe box, then whatever you collect, you can put in the safe box, and it is safe. It doesn't get lost. But if you don't have a safe box, or don't put in the safe box, if you keep it everywhere, wind might blow and take it away. You might be able to collect a lot, but if a wind comes, it might get blown away. If somebody comes, finds it interesting, might take it away, and you might lose what you have collected. So something like that, your merit accumulated through the practices. Then if you dedicate to all beings, which is limitless beings, then it multiplies into limitless. And when it multiplies into limitless, there's no way of diminishing that merit. But when you don't dedicate for the limitless beings, then it is just one singular entity. And then that, if after that wonderful practice, and then if a negative thought arises, which I'm sure we, being in the samsara, having some limitations, at some point or the other, someone might irritate us, something might happen, and our negative emotions might arise. And when that happens, then all that merit could be contaminated by negative thoughts. So therefore, in order for our merit to not be contaminated, to be limitless, then we do the dedication. So that is why dedication is very important. So that way, and then with these three methods, if we do anything, then it becomes a profound practice, a practice that can propel us through, through to completely eradicate ignorance, and attain the total realization of the ultimate truth. So now this practice can be adapted to anything. So for example, your day-to-day, let's say you are doing some activity to help somebody. So genuinely you do that with genuinely recognizing your nature, as the, your essence is the Buddha, your essence is the Dharma, your essence is the Sangha. So that is, that is profound, that is pure, that is precious. So if you go against that, if you do something negative, then that is going against your nature. So recognizing that, never to do a negative thing, always remembering this, the three jewels. And then with genuine kindness, limitless loving kindness, if you perform an activity, not selfish reason, you do a generosity act, but do it 100%, with genuine wish to benefit the whoever you are doing it, rather than thinking, if I do something, I will get some name, or I will get some benefit, or I will this, So if you attach a string there, even for you, it is not it is not very nice, because the more strings we have attached to it, it is very difficult that it would be fully fulfilled. And when it doesn't get fulfilled, then you are upset. So you are even more upset than before doing anything. Because when you do something, if you expect it, then you have a great expectation. So when you don't get that result, your disappointment will be much more than without doing that. So that way it is not beneficial. But if you do anything with a genuine, unconditional love, then what happens is you don't expect anything. So there's no way of harming yourself in the sense of hurting yourself, being disappointed, nothing. So whatever you do, you wish for the best of the other, and then when you see the result, you rejoice in that. If it doesn't work out, or if it's not appreciated, you're fine with that. So that way it should be, with genuineness. So if so with that way, then whatever you're doing with that kind of bodhicitta, with that kind of understanding of the refuge, and then you do so. The first part is it includes the first part. Then the second is whatever action you're doing. So whenever you're doing anything, do it with the understanding that everything is like a dream. Everything is there is no reality to anything. Everything is a mere consequence of interdependent nature. So everything exists with that. Everything appears through this understanding of interdependent nature. So nothing is by itself independently, how do you say, independently, permanently existing. So nothing is that way. So when you have this kind of understanding, then whatever you do, everything changes all the time. So when there is change, you don't have problem. It doesn't disappoint you. And then whatever you do, there's limitless way of, there's limitless effort in doing it. So, and then there's no grasping onto things. When we have strong attachment to something, is because we think that is for real. It is the stronger we have that, the more we have. For example, we have so much attachment to this I, because we have so much, we think this I is real, and then to this I we have so much attachment, and then we are so easily hurt. Little bit happens, then I gets upset. Little bit, good happens, I get so, ego, so much ego, and then that way. So, through understanding of the, emptiness, the impermanence and all that, then our practice or whatever we do becomes, much more beneficial, much more effective, and that cuts through the ignorance, in our, which is the main cause for us to be in the samsara, which is the main reason why we are unable to, recognize the truth. And the truth is emptiness. So keeping, in order to realize this truth, the wisdom. So that is the wisdom. So the wisdom of the emptiness and the method of loving kindness, compassion. So in union with these, when we do any activity, then it becomes profound activity. So some people like say, some people come and ask me, that oh, so and so, is doing a very negative thing to me. Then should I, how to take it? Because I can't take it because this person is really, very negative, hurting me. But the Dharma says you must, how to say, you must let others be the first, and then you take the second, all the faults and everything, you take it, and then, so how to do it, and it's very difficult at that, so Dharma doesn't say that, the Dharma says that, if you think of loving kindness, compassion with wisdom, then this person who is hurting you, by doing such an action is creating negative karma. So through that negative karma, this person is creating suffering for that person itself. So that way, and then through your loving kindness, compassion, you cannot let him create more suffering for himself. We have to make sure that this person doesn't create negative karma and doesn't create suffering for himself. So therefore, and then that is the wisdom, and that is the loving kindness. So the loving kindness and the wisdom to understand this, and then to avoid is necessary. So you don't let such a person hurt you. You avoid. It doesn't mean you have to, do the same thing back. It doesn't mean you should hurt that person, because that person is already hurting himself by such action. Through his ignorance is creating problem for you, means it's already, it's like self-hammering. So how can you hammer more when you see such thing? So instead you try to avoid such situation, by not letting that person create more suffering. So that way, so you don't have to take all that, and neither do you have to harm that person. So that is through wisdom, and that is through the loving kindness, compassion. So the union of these two in any action you do is very important. So that way. So now the main practice, and then the the dedicating, whatever action you do, so dedicate. If you can dedicate immediately for the well-being of all sentient beings, then you immediately, the thought, thought is the main thing. So reading, we do it because it assists us to think, so therefore we read. But thought is, you don't need much, even a second moment of thought is enough, so, thinking that way and dedicating. And at the end of the day, when before sleeping one can dedicate, all one's positive action of the body, speech and mind today, may I dedicate the merit for all beings, in the evening. So if you do that, in the morning when you wake up, taking refuge and making commitment that may I utilize my body, speech and mind towards, good, helping others, positive, and refrain from negative things, so making that commitment, and then in the day trying to live by that, and in the evening assessing it, and then through assessing, if you have done more positive things, rejoicing in that. If you have done more negative thing, then trying to change it, so trying to change. And there's no need to be how to say, disappointed as in, disappointed that you were not able to do, but not disappointed as in, you are useless, that kind of a thing. That is called laziness also. Thinking that yourself is useless is one laziness. Thinking that, one laziness is normal laziness. So that is not how, as a practitioner, we shouldn't do that. Because even the thought of recognizing that we haven't been able to, do something positive is a thought. That is a positive thought. Because genuinely regretting for not being able to do something, and then that is the first step to changing yourself, so that is better than not, that is not ignorance, that is wisdom, to see that. So therefore, that way, so you, inculcate such things in your daily life. And then, so that way all practices have these three, the refuge, bodhicitta, the main practice, and then the dedication. And here, then in the beginning is the refuge, the lineage prayer. So now lineage prayer is very important, because it is like the refuge also, it is like the Guru Yoga also. So it is remembering all the remembering and supplicating to all the gurus, the lineage masters, who without one cannot attain enlightenment, because of these gurus, precious gurus, the lineage of this practice has been kept alive, and then you are able to receive that. You are able to practice that, and because you can practice that, you can attain enlightenment. But if the gurus weren't there, then you would not be able to receive these practice lineage. And if you don't receive it, then you cannot attain enlightenment. So therefore, they are so precious. Buddha manifested, and for Buddha, there's no birth or death or anything like that, or past, present, future. But for us, there is, and because for us there is, and then we cannot see Buddha directly at the moment. So we cannot hear the Dharma directly from the Buddha at the moment. So that way, then how do we attain enlightenment directly through the Buddha? Then we can do that because of these precious gurus, who so kindly have passed on this lineage unbroken, alive till oneself, and guides you through what is right, what is wrong, how to attain enlightenment. So therefore they are so precious. It is said that they are even more precious than the Buddha because of this. It doesn't literally mean that the Buddha is not precious. It doesn't mean that. As I told you, the Guru is the Buddha. Buddha is the Guru. There's no difference. But for us, because of these reasons, then we say the Guru is so precious. Even more precious than Buddha. So now, for that purpose, and then remembering the Guru and supplicating to the Guru for their blessing. And the blessing can, one can receive the blessing because of the Guru. So through the Guru, one will receive the blessing. So now here Namo Guru. So that way, in the beginning, then Namo Guru Aryataraye Doma Ngaki Wangchu Selingpa. So all these are the gurus. Different gurus. Yeah. So I don't know if. I guess it's already written here. Okay. So I guess no need to say one by one, right? It's already there. Otherwise, it will take too much time. So, for example, Namo Guru Aryadara Dolma Ngaki Wangchu. So Dolma is Tara. Ngaki Wangchu is Manjushri. Then Sedlingpa is one of the great masters from somewhere in Indonesia, I think, right? So he is the one who compiled the mind training also, so Sedlingpa. Then from there, then Cho, the Palden Atisha, Cho, Domten Chenga Trip, then Domtenpa. So anyway, yeah, one by one. So Thabo, Cho, Domten Chenga Trip Bishop, then Thabo Tuchen. So Thabo is Thabo Rambuchi, Gamboba. Tuchen is Kamaba, first Kamaba, Tuzumjemba, and then so that way, so anyways, here there are many, and then so these are the lineage masters, who have who's associated with this particular practice lineage. Okay, so right till one's own guru. So sadhana jinde. So it says here, Jawak kunji ijin koloda yelme tuni tundup shinjelop. 제와군도 소야 저 제와군도 양달 남아당 덜메 취제팔라 농주징 사단남 주인된 ram전에 dorje change company so 제와군도 means all your life, so the past, present, future, in all the lives till you attain enlightenment, may you never be separated from the gurus. And then and then gradually may you attain enlightenment through the the blessings and the blessings of the guru. Okay, so that is the now, and the next is the refuge, chapsem. So chapsem is refuge, sangji chunang choji chonamda. So here when you do the refuge, then one visualizes the Tara itself. Tara is the embodiment of the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. So Tara's mind is the Buddha, and Tara's the manifestation and the the practice is the Dharma. and then Tara's, Tara is the Sangha. So that way Tara is the embodiment of the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. So also Tara is the embodiment of the three roots, which is the Guru and the deity and the protector deity of the Daka and Dakinis. So here, okay, it says Sangji Chudang Tsokji Chonamla, Changju Pardadani Chapsuji. So you are taking refuge to the Buddha, the Tara, and then Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, which is the Tara. Then Changju Pardadani Chapsuji. So till what point? So it says till the one reaches enlightenment. So not just till this life ends, but till enlightenment. So may I take refuge to the Tara, the Buddha. So that is so that is the bodhicitta. So may I attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So whatever I do, the six paramitas, so whatever action I do, whatever practice I do, so may all that lead to the liberation of all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment. Now and then next is Chamdu Simji. So here, of course, we all know, right? Sanji, we clasp our hand like this, so that is the mudra of the supplication. And Sangji Chudan Soji Chunamna Chanju Pardadani Chasuji Dagi Jindoji Bisanamji Dola Pinji Sanji Dubracho. So this 3 times you can read. Okay. Then now Simjen Thamji Dewa and Devi Judan Demprachuji. Those are the 4 limitless thoughts. So Simjen Thamji Dewa and Devi Judan Demprachuji. Donghal dan donghal ji judan thalor chuji donghal me be dewa tan badam mental or chuji nyering chadan ni tan thai tangnyam chimbola ne ba churji. So that is the the 4 limitless thought, the chamba. So the how is it? It's written there. I don't know. It is the limitless loving kindness. Then the second is the limitless compassion. Then third is the rejoicing. And then the fourth is the equanimity. So these are the 4 limitless thoughts. Then so now after that, then one can visualize, that the visualized Tara, then after taking refuge and then generating bodhicitta, and then that is the perfect condition for the accumulation of merit for one's practice to go without any obstacles. Highest form of accumulation of merit is that, the bodhicitta, and the refuge in bodhicitta. So that is why then one visualizes one can also visualize the Tara dissolve into oneself, and blesses one's being. So that way one can visualize here. And then next is the main practice. So Om Shune da Jana Benza Subhava Ema Kohang. So that is dissolving into emptiness. And from emptiness, then Tong Bing Angle, Machubi Semna Hongki Dada Namka Kawanda Cheba. So from emptiness, then great sound, from the letter Hung. Hung, the sound of the Hung, and then appear the mandala, of the Tara. So Doji Sungko Ragur Mepung Ambarwa Yangsing Jachevi Usu and Dumde Dawa Chushel Jijayakang. So the mandala of the Tara, which appear from the letter Dum, the mandala is like the glass, a crystal glass mandala, the Tara, and Dawa Chushel Jijayakang, Te Usu Pamde. So in the center of the mandala is square mandala, and then in the center is the lotus. So of course first the letter Pam that transforms into the lotus, then Pam le Pema Karbo Dongbu Tang Cheba Rabto Jebi, then on top of the lotus there's this letter A, which transforms into the moon disk. Then Kawanyo Bitima Tantawa Te Tengdu, and on top of that then one's heart syllable Tam, that's the essence, one's essence, in the form of the letter tam, which is white in color, and then that transforms into utpala with the tami karbo symbol, utpala with the tam on top. So it transforms into that. Now from that, then a great ray of light is emitted. So and the light kind of fills the entire 10 directions to the all the pure lands of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and because of your the mental state of refuge and bodhicitta, and then all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are greatly pleased with your such thought of benefiting beings, and that is the very thought that that generated the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to the state of enlightenment. So therefore, then that manifests in the form of blessing for the benefit of beings, and and then the light retreats back into you, and then again light is emitted towards all the 6 realms, and then semchenji tenshin means then it purifies all the negative karma of the beings, and then transforms the beings into the white Tara, and then that light again retreats back into this tam. So just now is the tam, white utpala on the tam, it retreats back into that, and then with all that, then the conditions, then the tam transforms into the white Tara. So the tam is you, so your essence, then it transforms into you. You are the white Tara here. Then you become the white Tara here. So this is talking about the appearance and all that of the white Tara that I explained to you in the morning. So shelter chushel karshin wezir ngaden to chowa gegjing chabi nyamjin nubur sungin zemba shiwa chembu zumjal jen ula jen sum tang chagjab ji tildwa jen rere, page number 9, jen rere de isheji jen duntan demba cha ibi chojinchi chagja tang UMP tepsin jarwe utpala karbo dabja nyendrung tu jibi yuwa tukar zimba mutik karbo zor churbi rinpoche natsokpi ujjen nyencha guljen toshal semo topung jen chajabji dubu kera yerki chenwa tan cheba. So these ornaments, there are mainly the 6 ornaments representing the 6 paramitas, and so now Hadzeji meto to meet Zeba, Hadzeji Tarakarbu Toyo Tang, Wangbu Jutabu Tarjim Heo Solwa, Uta Lever Takbrachimba, Shabdurji Chimon Tunki Jushin, Davi Javel Jinduchur. So that is the description of the appearance of the Tara. Then from here, then as I said, from the forehead there's the letter Om, white color. On the throat there's the letter A, red color, and in the heart, the below the in the heart direction, little below the heart direction, there's the letter Hung, which is the mind, representing the mind, and then in the Tuki Hung Humbo, Tuki Usu, and then inside, in the right, in the center, then there's the Usu Pekar, white lotus, Tukar na Dawala, and on top of the lotus there's the moon disk, and on top of the moon disk there's this letter Tam, which is a hard syllable, Tam Karpo, which is white in color. So there's Om Ahung here, and then inside there's the lotus, white lotus, on top of that moon disk, and on top of that the Tam, which is inside in the heart, in the center. So that way, tell a visit to. Then from that ray of light is emitted from the Tam. Of course, in some it says from all 3, light is emitted, and mainly, which is from the Tam, the white light, that is the more powerful light. So that, with that light, then it towards the 10 direction, and then and then from there, from the pure land of the white Tara, and then the Tara is evoked. So then you visualize from the, with that kind of evocation, then white Tara appears in front of you, from the Pure Land and in front of you here, so the white Tara is there. Then, so Benzer Samanza, Chendra, Benzer Samanza is this, Mudra is like this. So, the right is out, left is in, okay. So that is the evocation Mudra. So that, you calling and then, remaining in front of you. So Benzer Samanza. Then after now, so white Tara is in front of you. Now to that evoked white Tara, then you making offering. So now the next is offering. After you evoke, then you make offering. So offering from your, again, heart, syllable, thumb, then offering gods and goddesses appear, so appear from you, and then make various offerings of the, like Argam, Padam, Pupe, Dupe, Aloke, Gende, Nivande Shabda. So it's like for drinking water, Shapsil is for washing, Shapsil Meto is, offering of flower for eyes, Dugbu is for smell, so incense and other. Marme is the light, and then Tichab is the scent, and then Chazi is the food, Ronmo is music. So that is a general offering, put together. But whatever is there, whatever one can offer, one thinks, then make offerings that way, to the Tara in front. So by the offering gods and goddesses, and then there is no limitation to this offering, so limitless offerings you make. And then after making the offering, then you visualize the offering goddesses and gods and goddesses again, after making offering, retrieves back into you. And then now the next is, so after making offerings, then the evoked Tara, how do you say, absorbs into you, and then you become one with that. So that Zahung Pamho. So here one can do, this Zahung Pamho, or one can do this also, Zahung Pamho. So Zahung Pamho. Zahung. Right hand over left hand, za, your index finger with the little finger, okay, za, then you turn other way around, hung, right hand below, left hand above, and your left hand index finger over the left hand little finger, so that's hung, and then palm is this way, palm, and then hong ho is this way, so this means this side, so you are that front visualized Tara becomes one with you, so it's towards you, okay. So some do Zahong Pam, some Zahong Pam Ho. So this is better, I think, Zahong Pam Ho, okay. Zahong Pam. It's easy to remember because it's this side, okay. When it's that side, you have to do this way, but the side is this way. So here you are evoking and then dissolving into yourself, so it's this side, not that side, so therefore Zahong Pam Ho, okay. Right hand, first is right hand over the left hand. So over means the left hand is up, right hand is down. So za, then same thing but opposite, hung, the other way around, yeah, hung, then pam, then ho, okay. Now nisu mebartim. So okay, so now har yang sabun jiveji. So now after dissolving into you, so the Tara that is evoked now becomes one with you. Now you have to do empowerment to this. So till now you have evoked, and then it's submerged into you. Then after submerging into you, now you empower it with the empowerment. So next is the empowerment. So again from the thumb, after submerging into you, then from the thumb again, ray of light is emitted towards the 10 directions towards the Pure Land, and from there the 5 Buddha, so that is and then is evoked, and then with that, then you receive the empowerment. Then you visualize that you are being empowered. And Om Pensakula Saparivar Argam. First you evoke the five Buddha, the source of empowerment, and then to that you are making again offering, after evoking. So this next thing, Om Pensakula Saparivar Argam Soha, Om Pensakula Sapar Padam Soha, Om Pensakula Sapar Pube, Om Pensakula Sapar Dubbe. Okay, do I have to say this? This is Argam. This is Argam. Okay, so Om Pensakula Sapar Padam is this. Okay, this way, Padam. Om Pensakula Saparivar Pube, Ahum. Om Pensakula Saparivar Dubbe, Ahum. Om Pensakula Saparivar Aloke, Ahum. Om Pensakula Saparivar Gende, Ahum. Om Pensakula Saparivar Nevente, Ahum. Om Pensakula Saparivar Shabda, Ahum. Okay, so Om is then this way. Om Sarvatata Gata Abhikhen Satamam Sher Sovatabe. So after making offerings and after your offering and supplicating, so what is supplication? Supplication is may you be empowered, right? So after that it says, She Sovatabe Wangin Hanamji, then the Buddhas of the empowerment Buddhas, then they empower you. They are they empowering you. So Chedar Tamba Chamjini, Hanamjini Trusoltar, Hai Chune Tabai, Tejinda Trusolo. So as I said yesterday, empowering. So by first purifying, then blessing, and then so that way empowering. So empowerment is that. So then blessing. So you visualize that they empower you, and then the entire nectar fills you up. Entire your whole body is filled with the nectar, and then up as it fills completely till your crown, then there's the Buddha Amitabha above your crown. That is because Tara is the lotus family, and lotus family is the Buddha Amitabha. So Buddha Amitabha above your crown. Chula Chulhama Yar Lebale Rikjidabo Bameju Ujemparchur. So now so after that again you visualize the empowering, how to say, the Buddhas all dissolve into you. They dissolve into you, and then now you are empowered. You have been empowered, and then you are the Tara with the Amitabha above your crown. Then now you are completely enlightened Tara, which is consecrated, empowered, alive. Now to that, then you make offering. So from your heart again, from the syllable, offering gods and goddesses appear, and then making offering towards you. So you are the Tara now. It's no more you. Okay, it's not this I. It is the Tara. The limitless, this enlightened Tara. So that the offering goddesses and gods making offerings, and then you do this again. Same Om Ayatare Sapar Argam Soha. Om Ayatare Sapar Padam Soha. Om Ayatare Sapar Pube Ahum. Om Ayatare Sapar Dupe Ahum. Om Ayatare Sapar Aloke Ahum. Om Ayatare Sapar Gende Ahum. Om Ayatare Sapar Nevende Ahum. Om Ayatare Sapar Shabda Ahum. So with that you are making offering. Then the next is praise. So praise, word of praises to the Tara. So Latang Hamin Chupenchi, Shabji Pemo La Tute, Pomba Kunden Ronzema, Doma Yumla Chancel Tu. So that is the praise. So you are praising, and then with all that, again you visualize, visualizing the offering gods, goddesses, the praises, the gods and goddesses of praise and all that, then all dissolves into you again, back into the Dham. Okay, so now all this is, the shamatha practice, so a profound shamatha practice. Now, after that, then is the mantra recitation part. So the visualization for the mantra recitation. So it says, Ranki Ningar Pedi Tengdu Kollo Karbo Tsibji Muche Tanchibi Tewar Tam Te Thar Dune Ekorto Om Mama Ayu Punya Jana Putin Kuru So Ha Tsibjela Tare to Tare Ture So Yigen Nam Muteki Dobotar Karhame Mior Neba Tele Ön Tru Jawasi Chi Chu Semjen Namchi Tsepelwa Sokchi Tönchi Pakpa Namchi Shinaptang tenyo khundeji chechu ngudup thamje özerjin number 2 sabun hangten tha chebala timbi tangdang ziji rabdum barshin chime che ngudup thamparchur. So here what it is saying, your visualization is then ranking hinkar pedi them. So serve in the heart direction. Now there's the the lotus and the moon disk. So pema dawa. So on top of that there's the heart syllable. On top of that there's the wheel. So kollo karbo means the white wheel with 8 spokes. So wheel chakra. The chakra, right? The wheel with the 8 spoke like that. So there's this sitting this way, over the moon, and then in the center of the the chakra, the wheel is the thumb. Letter thumb is there. And then theta dune ekurto and then around the thumb, from here in the center is the thumb. Then around here the letter om, mama ayu punejana putting kuru ha. That is written this way. And then so when it's written this way means the head is here, tail is here. Which means, so if the head is here, so normally the head leads, right? So in case if it goes round, it goes this way. Because it's om mama ayu punya jana putting kurus ha. So if you write this way, the head is here, tail is here. So when it goes, if the head leads, then it will go clockwise, right? But then here it doesn't go, it just, it is written that way. Okay, so you think thumb and then om mama ayupune jana putting kuru ha. And then on the spoke, the wheel is here and then the spokes are here. So on the head of the spokes, then there are 8 spokes, right? So on the 8, ta re tu re so. So 8, ta re tu re so. So on the 8 heads, there are these 8 letters. So now outer ring, on the head there's tare tu re so. In the inner, the main in the middle there's thumb. Around the thumb there's om mama yipune jana putting kuru ha. So that's how the mantra is in your heart, here. And all this is white in color, and white as in like a pearl white. So pearl white means it emits all 5 color, yet the leading color is the white, so like that, so that kind of a light. Now, again, and then myo and neba means the letter is standing still, not shaking, not turning, but stable that way. Again, and then from that, great ray of light is emitted to all directions and to all the pure lands, and makes offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then after making the offerings, and then it also emits to all the realms, and then it purifies all the negative karma, obscurations of the beings, and then it all beings with any shortcomings like short life, sickness, whatever, so it eradicates all those shortcomings and then benefits beings that way. And then then the light retrieves back and into the thumb, and when it retrieves back with the light, then the energy of the light is the the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then all the the essence of all the elements which are the source of life, so all that, the positive energy, so all that, retrieves back into you. So, and number 2 and then after that then you you receive all that, and with that then you become Tandan Zije is translated as so. With great poise, with great when like anybody who when we see a sacred say a Buddha statue in front, automatically when you see a beautiful Buddha statue, it gives us, that peace. It gives us that feeling, the peace, the positive energy, that kind of thing. So you emit that. You have that kind of a, energy. So that kind of thing, which can eradicate all negativity, which can benefit beings, with such power. So that kind of thing, you emit that kind of energy, positivity. And then you receive the siddhi of the long life. And then after that, with that kind of visualization, then you recite Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. So this visualization then you can do again and again. So holding on to this visualization after you receive all that blessing and all that, and then you become the Tara, and then in that state of the oneness with the Tara, in that profound state, then you remain in that state and recite Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha, and again your mind will be somewhere else, and then when that happens, then again you do the the visualization again, starting from the lotus, the mundus, the thumb, the chakra, then the thumb, the letter surrounding, then again emitting of the light, then making offerings, then the fulfilling the needs of the beings, and then that retrieves back into you, and then it transforms you into this Tara, full of positive energy, and then your life is, you receive the blessing of the life. So that way, and again you remain in that state of oneness for, do the mantra like that. So you continue doing like that. Then that is one form of meditation. Then again, sometime you can do is, just focusing on the thumb, the letter thumb is there. So just focus on that thumb, and then, with one pointed awareness, mindfulness, and you recite on that. Then sometimes with the letter, Om Mama Ipune Jana Purin Kurisawa, and the thumb, you do that. Then sometime on the, clearly establishing the letter Tare Tu Tare Tu Re So, with all that thing. So, you hold that, and then on that doing, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re So with clarity, with awareness and mindfulness, holding and then doing the mantra. So those are all forms of meditation, shamatha meditation. And then also, sometimes when you do that, then there's when one remains in this state, there's a state of where there's no here nor there, you are in that kind of a state. Then try to hold that also, and remain in this state of non-dual, and try to stay in that, and try to do that. Then again, by sound, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re So, then try to be aware, mindful of the sound, rest in that sound, meditate on the sound itself, and do Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re So. Then again, without saying the mantra loud, say it in your mind, and then be aware of in the mind reading Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re So without saying it loudly. So read it with mind. So be aware of this in mind. Read it with mind. So when you are reading with mind, then you have to be aware of it. You have to be mindful of it, and then read with mind. So that way reading. So all these are different methods of meditation. So you can inculcate all these kind of visualization. Then here now it says this is a little bit. So Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re So. After that, then the main long life, Tara, the mantra is Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mama Yopune Jana Purin Kurusaha. But before reading that, the the visualization of that, you have to go down. How much? Page 22. Okay. So here it says, Tsedupji Kapsu. So for the long life, practice. Then on page 22. So this Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re So, you read how much ever, maybe it depends on your time. 1 mala, 5 mala, 3 mala, 10 mala. I don't know. It depends on your time. Then you go to the next mantra, which is the long life mantra. So on page number 22, so you read jiwo pa meji tukju kulwe chaki hongzi ji duzi kol rangi jiwo ne shuk lu tamche kangshin chime dubar chur. Okay. So here, and then that is these four, how many lines are there? 3 sentences, right? Jiwo pa meji tukju kulwe chaki hongzi ji duzi kol rangi jiwo ne shuk lu tamche kangshin chime dubar chur. So with this, the visualization is the Amitabha above your crown. So from the the bowl of the the, how do you say, they call it begging bowl, but I don't know. Yeah, so from that bowl is filled with nectar. So that nectar overflows and then enters into your crown. The nectar is the nectar of the long life. So enters into you and then completely fills you up right till the crown. No space left, right till the crown, and on the crown Amitabha is there, sitting here. So completely fills you, and with that, and then with this, then you receive the siddhi of the long life. Siddhi is called what in English? That time you said is accomplishment, long life accomplishment. Then with that you read Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayu Punya Jana Putin Guru Soha. Okay. So as I explained to you the mantra that time, so I think no need to explain. Om Tare Tutare Ture. So Om Tare, remember the letters are already there. Om Tare Tutare Ture So is in the external wheel, and inside there is Mama Ayu Punya Jana Putin Guru Ha is there. So these letters are already there in your heart. So you are saying the mantra Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayu Punya Jana Putin Guru Soha, and then these letters don't move. Okay, it's just stable here, and then you visualize the letter. As I said, again we can do the same visualization for this also, the meditation, and also one can for beginner, my teacher used to tell me, it is helpful to visualize the mantra a little bit big, like size of a needle, sewing needle. So sewing needles are normally that big, right? So about that size letter, it is easier to visualize. Then as you get familiar with that, then gradually decrease the size, and then even size of a grain, you can clearly visualize size of a grain as you get familiar with that. So that way, and then he used to say, like the Tara and all that, you can have a look nicely in a picture first when you're starting, and then gradually that way, but then don't get used to that. So gradually, once you are familiar with this, then stop using pictures, because if you keep using picture, then your mind is too thing with the picture. Without picture, then you cannot, so it's dependent. So therefore you shouldn't use picture too much, so that is just to assist you in the beginning, and then gradually and mentally we must establish the visualization and all that. So okay, so now so that way this Om Tare Tutare Mama Punjam Putin Guru Soha, how much ever you can do. And then here, supposing if you are doing for somebody also, then you can visualize that way. In the beginning, Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha, when we are doing, so when light emits to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, then you receive that, and then when it goes back to the beings, all beings are transformed into the Tara. So all the negative purified, all obstacles purified, then all the beings become the Tara. And then all the surroundings become the pure land of the Tara. All the sound becomes the pure, pure sound of the Tara, the mantra. So in that all beings are Tara, including you. All the surrounding is the surrounding of the mandala of the Tara. All the sound is the sound of the pure sound of the Dharma, the Tara mantra. So in that, then here, then even on the crown of all the beings, there's the Amitabha, and then from there the nectar flows and fills them, and it gives them the accomplishing the long life. And if you're doing a particular person, for somebody, then you can visualize that also, person as the Tara, then the nectar flowing and filling up the entire, the being, and then that way all sicknesses or whatever is eradicated, and then rejuvenated, the elements rejuvenated, and so like this, so one can visualize that way particularly. Okay. And then Sheye Pelsi Jaya Jaja Jirida, so how much ever one can read. And then now this is the conclusion part. So it says Nansi Thamje Pama Dolmi Chinkur to Chur. So yeah, all all that appears, or one is the mandala of the Vaitara, Domi Chinkur to Chur. Te Thamje Sunkor Latin, Rani Tendan Temperjima, Rimchi Tuki Tamnatim. Now in this one, if you want to do more easier, then everything dissolves into you. You are the Tara, so everything dissolves into you. You dissolve into the lateral thumb in the middle. So everything dissolves into you. You dissolve into the lateral thumb, and all that the thing that you have visualized, the lotus, the mundus, and all that also dissolves into the thumb, the lateral thumb. So now only thumb is left. Rani then the temperature bomb, rimji tuki thumb natim, te ami rimji versal to jubarju. Then the thumb also, from it dissolves into emptiness. In the thumb, tuki thumb natim, te ame rimchi yosaldu. So the thumb you can visualize from down, up, it goes up, dissolves up. Then right in the top there's that bindu, so that, and then to that, then it transforms into emptiness that way. And then in that emptiness, rimji yosaldu jubarchur. And in that emptiness, then you remain in this state of emptiness, in the state of oneness. You remain in, after it becomes emptiness, then in the state of emptiness, the oneness or emptiness, or in this state of non-dual, you remain as much as you can. Then Rani Pamadumni Kuju, then as I said, as a thought appears, then you transform back into the Tara. Rani Pamadumni Kuruchurbi ne sumtu Om Ahung temperature. And then again the Om Ahung, white, red, and blue color. So Om Ahung, which is the body, speech, and mind, the enlightened body, speech, and mind. Nangda jichu tamje tendamba rangji meba tangche jumada bo eshe ngo number tako. So, and then all the surrounding is the pure surrounding of the Nangda jichu tamje tendamba rangji meba tangche jumada bo eshe ngo number. So you see everything as the emptiness, as I told you that in the practice. So everything, knowing that it is the nature of everything is emptiness. What appears like this, that is just an illusion. It's an illusion, but in reality is empty of such a thing. So if we examine anything, we can dissolve it. We can disintegrate it into emptiness. For example, this mala. So you say this is a mala. What is a mala? Mala is a combination of so many beads together, put together, strand together. It is a combination of these beads together. It is a combination of this string together. So all that together becomes a mala. If you take out the string, and one by one, if you make one bead is not a mala. It is a bead. So that bead also, if you break it up, what is a bead? Particles. Particles, you break it up, and then it's no more a bead. So that way, so-called mala is just an illusion. It is something that's concept. But it is in reality is empty of such a thing. So that way, everything that is around that one experiences, it's a illusion. But that illusion is out of the emptiness. So therefore, understanding that. So here it means that so whatever one sees, appears, hears, so all that is like the illusion. In reality, in ultimate, it is empty. Emptiness. Empty doesn't mean nothing. It means emptiness. It loses this identity of a permanent in a reality. Then rangji meba nangcha jumatabu. So it is like a illusion. Like a magic. A magician, when performs a magic, it is not real. But it can create many things. So something like that. So jumatabu yeshilai ngo nambatago. And then in that we see everything as the mandala of the the Tara, all beings as the Tara, enlightened Tara, all sound as the perfect sound of the the Tara mantra. So that way, Nangja Jumada Vishilai Ngon number Tago, then Gewa de Nudoda, Domakamo Dujane, Duaji Jamal Tesan. So that is the dedication. So by this practice, the merit accumulated, may all beings attain the realization of the White Tara. So that is the thing. Now, if you want to make, like supposing if you are in retreat, or if you want to do like special offering, to the Tara, like Tolma offering, or the this tea offering, serkem offering like this, then the next, the next thing. So supposing you make a dorma or you make like this, offering we have. So with tea and some durik, what do you say? Grains or anything like that. Then to that Om Benza Amrita Kundali Hana Hompe, that's the purifying this. So you purify into into this like grain and tea or whatever, it is limited. So but then through this mantra, then we transform into limitless offering, into nectar offering, with which then whatever the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, whatever is most appropriate to offer, it transforms into that. So and then down, then there's offering to even the the surrounding like the how to say, the gods, and so those kind of things. So for them also, whatever they wish for, it transforms into that. So in order to do that, then first so blessing by transforming from emptiness. Then Om Benza Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Hompe Om Subhava Shuddha Savadam Subhava Shuddha. So from emptiness, Tong Bing Angle Tong. So from the emptiness, and then the container becomes a large container. So this large is now beyond size. So as I said, whatever size appropriate, it transforms into that. Tong Bing Angle Tong Yang Xing Jachewa Rinpoche Le Dube, and then made of precious, whatever. Whatever precious material, so of the best, Rinpoche le to binangdo Om Ahung, and then in that, then the letter Om Ahung, which is the blessing word, Om Ahung, Hedu Shuale Shung, Torma and Dugu Janso Chimbo Chunde, Torma Dugu Janso Chimbo. So that Torma becomes, whatever the recipient wishes for, it transforms into that. So that ability is possible when it is turned into nectar. So nectar, it is turned into nectar through the blessing of the word Om Ahung. So like they say, Jang Jur Pel Sum. So Jang means to purify, Jur means to transform into whatever one wishes for. So and then Pel means to, it becomes limitless. So how much ever, if one wishes for only one, becomes one. If one wishes for 100, becomes 100. One wishes for 1,000, becomes 1,000. So there's no limitations to that. So that way. So Jang Jur Pel Sum. So Om Ahung transforms into nectar through this Jang Jur Pel Sum. So Jang means to transform. Jang means to purify from from limitation, from our impurities of holding things as reality, so like this. And then Jur is to transform, and Pel means to, and make it how much ever, available. So so with that kind of a thing, and then it becomes the perfect offering. Then Om Ahung, so with that your blessing. Then Rangi Hingi Sabun, now again from your, you are the Tara, so from your heart, Rangi Hingi Sabun, light emits, and then from the pure land of the Tara, then the white Tara surrounded by all the other manifestations of the Tara, surrounded by all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the deities, all the protector deities, and so all are there above. So to that, and then Locha Bodhale Jizuma Duma Karma Sanje the Chanju Sim Sotamji Jikorwa, Bender Samaza again same, Bender Samaza this way, evoking. So when you evoke is always this way and then this way. Okay? And then so we want Benzer Samanza. Then after evoking, then you simply remain. So this is the remain. Pema Kamalaya Santam. Okay. So you can do one by one this way, or you can do together. Doesn't matter. The main thing is this. So you can also do like this. If you can't do this, then just do this. So it means remain. So sit. Remain. And so Benzer Samanza. So Pema Kamalaya Sadam. You want to do shortcut? Benzer Samanza, Pema Kamalaya Sadam. You want to do little more beautiful? Benzer Samanza, Pema Kamalaya Sadam. So that's up to you. Then Thanam Jija. So now Thanam Jija, Doji Bugu Tangde, Torma Sovarchur. So here, then you visualize the the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the Tara, all all take the offering that you are making offering. Now doji bugu here there from the mouth, then light a light of like the tongue, like a how do you say, like a straw, but a light straw, with a head, with a vajra head, like that. But now don't confuse yourself too much, So just a light appear, and then through the light the nectar is, taken, so that way. And Hananjeja, Doji Bugu Tangde, Tormasovachur. Then they take your offering that way. Then when they are doing that, so Om Taritu Tariture, this is the Om Taritu Tariture, Edam Baling the Kaka Kai Kai, Om Taritu Tariture, Edam Baling the Kaka Kai Kai. So this is offering, right? Like a bowl. So we eat. Yeah. So this is offering. Om Taritu Tariture, Edam Baling the Kaka Kai Kai. So this is first to the Tara. It's written, all the other manifestations of the Tara, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the the wisdom deity, protector deity. So to all that, you are making offering. Now the next offering is, so 3 times you make offering, or 7 times, whatever, so till you establish your visualization. Then the next is Om Akaro Mukam. So with this, all the, nature, the nature, deities of the nature, the gods of nature, gods of all that, so those powerful beings, and then also to, one can visualize to all the beings, relief from all various needs and all that. So next Om Akaro Mukam. So this also like this, Om Akaro Mukam, Sawa Dharmanam Adenu Binadita Om Ahum Pe Soha. So this is also 3 times or 7 times. Om Akaro Mukam Sawa Dharmanam Adenu Binadita Om Ahum Pe Soha. Om Akaro Mukam Sawa Dharmanam Adenu Binadita Om Ahum Pe Soha. So that way. Now the next is then this is the offering. After that, then the again, the usual offering. So Om Ayatare Sabarevara Argam Soha, Om Ayatare Sabar Padam Soha, Om Ayatare Sabar Pupe Soha, Om Ayatare Sabar Dupe Soha, Om Ayatare Sabar Aloke Ahung, Om Ayatare Sabar Gende Ahung, Om Ayatare Sabar Nyunde Ahung, Om Ayatare Sabar Shabda Ahung. Okay, so Argam Soha, Padam Soha, Pupe Ahung, Dupe Ahung, Aloke Ahung, Gende Ahung, Nyunde Ahung, Shabda Ahung. Okay, so that's the offering. Now, after offering, then now the remaining is the how do you say, the soul. So by offering, now you're making your forward. Korwal de dul tarema tu tara in jije do ture no namje job domalani chancel to 강기 투지 여거지 말려 토엔 던제진 금에 남진 건단점 자와세단 제단도 추진들만 디제나. So you are referring to the source of whoever you are offering, and then and then requesting for whatever, and then all that. 추진들만 디제나 난줄다자 korchela neme chedam wangchungta. So 난줄다자 korchela means you yourself and all the practitioners. So neme chedam wangchungta, may you achieve long life, free of sicknesses and all that. Paldan thadang kalbazang. So so anyway, I think it's written here, right? Paldan thadang kalbazang longje jachen kuntorjing shedan jela sobai. So the 4 activities basically, to receive the blessings for to develop the 4 activities for the benefit of beings to attain enlightenment. Lejengudun dalazo tamsijinjin dalazo ngudun konji tongdozo teminchidan nenandan dandan gena meberzo menamngenda tsemange 샤쟁은 매번저 지된 대신 논에다 누나 표신 주변 단 델레 분숨서 받아 일란도 바 군tum즈 and then 팡만 룸에 나라 초 투몽경 우드 말르바 조와다 제발도 찰 윤지 직발이 좀징 추주진도 윤링도 초위 초진 번제도 so these are the so finally then the 2 accomplishment, the the accomplishment, the supreme accomplishment, and then the ordinary accomplishment, both. So one accomplishes both through such offering and practice. And so that is what it's saying. Pamadu medala chotomungungudu malibazawada chebadu ta yunji jigbali jobjing chujin yuring to chojin branzidu sol. Now after all that offering, so here you can offer, make the offering. Supposing you have to throw somewhere, you can throw, or if you whatever, clean and all that. Then now next is the the confession and purification. So during your practice, then your mind may, for sure would have been distracted from time to time. Your words would have been not clear. So all those limitations, and then we confess for all that and purify all the negative karma through all that. So by the Vajrasattva, as we know, Vajrasattva is the Bodhisattva who attain enlightenment with the bodhicitta of benefiting beings in the activity of purification. So therefore, then we recite the Bodhisattva mantra and visualize that all our negativity, all the impurity, the shortcomings have been purified through the Vajrasattva mantra. So Banjar Sato Samaya Manipalaya, Banjar Sato Tinapati Tandro, Mabasuka, Mabasujam, Anurado Mabasam, Mezam Shiram Grom, Bangan Masama Sato, also 3 times you can recite. And then after that, then Manjur Pada Nyamba, so this is also confession only. Manjur Pada Nyamba, Kayan Damondo in Jebatan Jetso, taking Zobarso, so this is what I told you already. Then the Tendan Hinji to Korvasitu Junajan, Nemetseta Onjuta, Chona Nebata, Umsata Benzeso. So this is how to say, consecrating. So consecrating oneself visualized as Tara, and then everything around, so whatever, so you're consecrating with the blessings of the Tara. Then intend on Hinji to Krovasi to Junajan, Nemitset on Judah, Chona Levat, so may Tara remain, till all beings are liberated from the samsara. The Om Surat Benzai Soha, and then what's this? Sunkur. And then this is Sunkur. Then you go to Gyawadi. Who's Gyawadi? Then from there you can jump to page number 22. That time line, third line. Jancho. No, sorry. Gyawadi. This is Gyawadi. Wait. How did we go? Okay, so yeah, then you can go here. Jancho Tseba maybe yum, Chime Nipartervamo, Ripan Zima Jumdende, Ijin Kolu Tashisho. Okay, so that is the the word of auspiciousness. So the end. And then the dedication, Gyawadi Simjin Kun, Didib Nitung Nedunshi, Sepal Sunami Shiji, Domi Komba Nyum Topsho. And then Minjul Himboku Itashisho, and not to do some Gitashi Tarat, Jayakusung to Jitashisho. And then that is, yeah. So with that, then we, then after that you can do Sonamdi, Samjizibanye, and some dedication prayers that way. So that is now, and then this in the middle is Sunkur. Sunkur is, what is Sunkur called? Protection circle. So if you want to do the protection circle, Sunkur Gombarduna, Dachi Jitun Dusine, Sungju Kikur, page 20.
But we have different books. In Slovenian books, maybe on the other.
Okay, so here there is now supposing if you want to do this, then you have to add this after the self visualization. Sunkur Gombardona Dachi Jitun Dusine Sungju Kikur Mandang Vikur. So where's the Dachi? Okay, so Tangsi Tamji Pamanjumi Jingor Juru Tetam Jesonga Rani and the temperature Rinjitam Tamirin Jason to Jubber Juru. So here, Vesan to Jubber Juru. Sunkur Gombardona Daji Tun Dusine Sungju Kikur Mandang. So Sungju Kikur Mandang is Harani Pamanjumi Kurchubi. So before that, so after doing on page number 14, Nangsi Tamje Paman Dumi Jingor the Jur, Te Tamje. Page number 14.
Slovenščini piše na strani 14, če želite izvajati prakso zaščitnega kolesa, pojdite na stran 20. To pomeni, da se tle ustavi to zaščitno koleso na strani 20.
Okay, so here, so then here you can do this Sunkur. But Sunkur normally you don't do every day. So you can do if you want, you can do, of course. Like the Torma offering also, of course, like we do every day. if you don't have time, then you can do only sometimes. You can do till the torma offering. It's the complete practice also. So anyway, first I'll do this one. I'll teach you the shorter ones. And then if you are lazy, you can do the other ones. Okay, so now Sungkhor is, so here, Tongbingang Kejigi, again, in the Sungkhor, then, because here you have already now, dissolved into emptiness, that so in emptiness. Now in that emptiness, Tongbingang Kejigi, Kollo Karbo Tsipchu. So here, Kollo Karbo means the white wheel, which is with 10 spokes. So 8 on the sides, 1 up and 1 down. So that way 10 spokes, 8, 9, 10. So 10 spokes are there, the wheel. And then Kollo Karbo Tsip Chu Kurtapsu Neshing. Kurtap means Kur means like a tent, so 10 means like that, so 2 up and then that way, So empty in the middle. Kurtapsu Neshing, Mingamba Nyurdo Korwi, Tevar Dumbo. In the middle, Dumbo means round. Dumbo, like inside is open. Dumbo yang binang tu rangni pama dumme. And in there, then one cell is the Tara, white Tara. Dolma hijin kolo jen dan chalu yonsu zogbar. So Tara as you are, with all the ornaments and everything as described earlier. Yonsu zogbar sa with tukar, and then in your heart, Tara's heart, then tukar kolo yigdu tan cheba. Then in the heart is the same, the Tara mantra with the the heart syllable and all that. Rangye ji teng to om, and then the up has the om, and down is the ha. So the syllable up in the spoke up is the om, spoke down is the ha. Ho to ha. Zip ji tsawa buptong ki te ji nang tu dunne egor tu. So zip ji tsawa buptong now. So yeah, so this is all like kur is like inside is empty, outside is covered, right? So the head that way. So in the in the tip means the wheel, the spoke of the wheel, in the then there's tare ture, so the 8 syllable there, and then on the up one is the om, down one is the ha. So that way, and you are in the middle. Zipji tsawa buptong ki teji nangdu dunne ekordo ige je ingdu nam karbo rangi tuki sabun le huzur karbo shell dabo. And then from your thumb, the letter which is in your heart, then white color emitted tuki sabun le huzur karbo shell dabo serbo. And then the color yellow serbo ser dabo, like a gold color. Marbo red color, which is like the pema, the Pema Raga. Pema Raga is what is it? Ruby. Yeah, so the color of the ruby, red. And then Chaka. Chaka means Chaka Thoreng is like dawn. Thoreng means dawn. So the color of the dawn. Dawn is morning, right? So that color. And Chaka Thoreng Jinam Dabo. And then Janku Magi Dabo. So Janku Magi is like is the what do you say? It's one of the herbs, I think. Mage is that herb is green color, I think. No, so janku mage is the main chi rikchi. So it is a thing. Chinka means liver color. So liver. Chimpa is liver, right? Chinka means liver color. So chinka indanila. So indanila is dark red color. Indanila is precious stone, right? So indanila dabu rimchi. So all that light, emitted. So from the thumb, these lights are emitted. Rimpa to the semjenji tuenshe, and then these lights, through these lights, then it hits all the sentient beings and performs the activity of liberating them from sufferings and transforming them into Tara, like that, Java namche, and then makes offerings to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Choji Java namji shinab vezir karser marmo jangting number rimbarche, and then all the blessings are retrieved back with the color, the same color of the vezir karser, red, white, yellow, red, blue, green, and then Tinka, as I said, is the how do you say? Tinka is how do you say this? Yang Ting, okay. So Jangting, sorry, so Jangting is like dark greenish, darkish greenish color. Thingy Jangting number Rinpoche Rangi Tugi Kolol Tim, and then all that color of the blessings of the Buddhas Bodhisattvas retrieve into your the heart syllable. Rangi Tugi Kolol Timbe Shije Wangda Len Haso Bingudu Tobjing, and you receive the blessings of the four activity. So Ngudu Tobjing Tempershe Langmanam Kollu Kurkanki. Then from the the outer, like a tent, completely protecting you from outside. Then it says the color, the remaining of the color. So from outside, first is the Chine Dom Kang. Domba Kang is, no, I don't know how it's translated. Yeah?
Is it fathom?
I don't know what is fathom. Yeah, so you visualize like a light which is kurgang chin dom kang samne karbu khongka kurgang, the white light protects you, and then inside the white light then there's that chinka teacher, so the white color of light, and then on top of that is the yellow light, and then on top of that red light, and then on top of that chaka, which is the like a like grayish dust color, the dawn in the morning, so before dawn the color of the sky, so that color. Then teshir jangu, and outside of that is the green color. Teshir chinki, outside that is the liver color. So how is liver color? It's yeah, dark red. I guess not the smoked. After smoking is different, right? So the healthy liver color, so yeah, so chinka, and then chinki kurgang namjang dom re parda chen, and then so tengo chongsam kundu korwa. So you are completely surrounded by these light, entirely surrounded. So there's no space that can pass through these lights. And like if one cannot imagine an atmosphere, yeah. So atmosphere is like that. There's layers of atmosphere, and then from the outside the meteoroids cannot come through. If they come through, they get disintegrated in particle in between, because they protect the earth and you, right? So that so it's not very difficult to imagine. So that kind of a light. You can imagine this light which protects from all negative forces, all that. So one can visualize that. 조정군도 걸어 등본 남바지 사와 템바 숲 매버 웅 serbu tamya metarwar 발동 탐지 utpalang hombo. And then so these lights, different rays of light, in between there's space between each of the light, and then in between is all the utpala, the flower utpala, blue color, it fills the entire gap between the lights. So the lights are like this different color, and in between the light is filled with the utpala flower, so there's no space to get through, so it's completely covered, completely secured, so like that. And so in that space, so you can visualize yourself, all beings, whatever, whoever inside of that, completely protected by all negativity. So negative force are natural negative forces, but most the force that is really harmful to us is the ignorance. So ignorance, protect us from the ignorance actually. So that way, completely protects us. So in that state, then you recite the Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha as much as you can. Then then at the end, dissolve everything into the emptiness. Just remain in that. So after that, then after holding on to this kind of a visualization, then at the end of that, then dissolve all that into emptiness. Into and just remain in this state of emptiness, non-dual, for a while. That is the true sunkor. The sunkor is what? The protection. So that's the true protection. There's nothing to protect. So therefore that is the greatest protection, isn't it? As long as you are I, there's a lot to protect. The moment I is no more there, there's nothing to protect. So the greatest of all the protection is no protection. So you dissolve into that non-dual state, and remain in that for a while. Then Debajina Thar Vesal Dushing Sungju Kurdang Hamajina. Then after that, then previously where we left, where did we leave? Page number 14. So Thar Rangi Pamadumi, so the last line. Thar Rangi Pamadumi Kuchubines and Oma Hongi temperature. So we continue from there. Okay? So that's the Sunkur. Okay? So you got that, right? So that is the long way of doing it. Now if you want to do the short way, so you start right from the beginning, first page, page number 5. You go the entire, the lineage prayer you do, then the self-visualization and everything you do, through page number 10, 11, page number 12, 13, and on page number 14, then you are doing the recitation, right? Om Taritu Tariture Soha. And after you finish the Om Taritu Tariture Soha recitation, then if you want to do the long life recitation, then it's the same. You go down to page number, how much was it? 22. 22, you read those 2 lines there. You read those 2 lines and then come back and then do the Amtare Tutare Mama Yupunejana Pudding Kuru Soha. So read that long life mantra how much ever you can. And then after that, then Nangsi Tamje Pama Domi Chinkor to Chur, Tetamche Sunkor Latim, Ranye Tendan Temper Chebam, Rimji Tuki Tam Latim, Tiam Rimji Versal to Jubar Chur. Till here, you read that. Then from this, then you go jump down. From here, then Har Rani Pama Domi Kuchubi Om, and Nisum Om Ahungi temperature. Okay, Nanda Jichu and Tanarani, Hanja Jamata Vishila, number Tako, Gewadi Nuduta, Domakam Dujina, Dwaji Jamaliba, Tesala Gabar show. So till there. Okay, so till page number 15, 1, 2, 3, fourth line. So you read it there. So you can keep it there, and that is complete practice. And if you want to add a little more, then you can, the last page, the last page on page number 22, Jalcho Tsepa Mebi Yum, Chimeng Epa Teramo, Ripan Zima Chomdende, Ijin Kolu Tashisho, Gewa Di Nurduda, Didib Netung Nedunshi, Sepal Sonam Yeshiji, Domi Compound Nurtopsho, Minjul Boku Tashisho, so that you can add if you want, out there. If you don't want to add, that itself is also fine. So that is the shortest form of doing it. Okay, so that is a short way. Then another way is okay. So now another way is you do the same thing here. Then you add the torma also, this torma, and then you do all this, and then leave out the the protection circle, which is page number 20. So you do till page number 19, and then leave out the page number 20, and leave out the page number 21, and jump onto the page number 22. Jalcho Tseba maybe Yum Chimeng Badaramo. So you go there. Page number ending on 22. Jalcho Tseba maybe Yum Chimeng Badaramo, and then you conclude. So here you are leaving out the protection circle, that practice part you are leaving out. The rest you are doing. So that is the middle length. Okay, so short, middle, and long length. So those are the 3 ways. So okay, so we did everything, right? Okay, what's the time? Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Okay, now so we end here. Let us dedicate the merit accumulated through this contemplating on the practice of the White Tara for the benefit of all mother sentient beings. Sonamdi Tamji Zibani Pomne Nebe Danam Pamjene Jega Naji Balab Tubai Sibe Zole Roa Rora Sho Jambula Bawe Chedara Chemba Kundu Zambo Teyan Tejinde Teda Gunji Jesu Dalho Jing Gewa Deda Tamji Rabdo Ngo Sangji Kusum Nebe Shinlabdan Chunyi Minjuru Dembe Shinlabdan Gendumi Je Dube Shinlabji Jedara Ngowa Mhalam Dubara Sho Jina Dewa Tsoso Ngo Pende Namka Chabara Sho Duna Dunghal Dagi Kurwa Dunghal Ji Jaso Dongbara Sho Om Benzar Sado Samaya Manubalaya Benzar Sado Dinoba Dita Dido Membo Sudukaya Membo Subuchayo Membo Anurado Membo Sarvasiddhi Medrayaza Sarva Karma Suzame Tirdam Shriya Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Benzar Ma Mumunza Benzar Bhav Ma Samaya Sado A